In this session, I am going to show you how to write a good answer in order to get full marks. This is a discussion of the verified ICSE 2023 specimen question paper for the subject English Literature. Section B, Drama, The Merchant of Venice. I'll discuss sections C and D as well, prose and poetry, and I have already finished uploading the discussion of the multiple choice questions. Do check the pinned comment section for all the links. Now, coming back to our focus today, a point of discussion, Drama, The Merchant of Venice. Question 2, let's read. Shylock, to bait fish withal, if it will feed nothing else, it will feed my revenge. Shylock delivered this speech in Act 3, Scene 1 of The Merchant of Venice, and here he was speaking to Salarino or Salerio. Question 3, the extract, Act 4, Scene 1, the trial scene, the famous and the most important mercy speech. Portia, the quality of mercy is not strained, it droppeth as the gentle rain from heaven. The first extract, Act 3, Scene 1, Shylock's speech to bait fish withal. The questions, who is he? What does Shylock want from him? What does Shylock mean by to bait fish withal? 3 marks. The answers, who is he? The word he refers to the Honorable Christian Merchant of Venice, Antonio. Very crisp, to the point answer. What does Shylock want from him? And in question 1, there are subparts. Keep changing paragraphs. What does Shylock want from him? Shylock wants to take revenge on Antonio. To take revenge. The key expression must be there in your answer. Otherwise, you will not get good marks. Use key words and expressions correctly and clearly in your answers. Shylock wants to take revenge on Antonio by exacting the penalty of the bond since the latter had forfeited the bond. Antonio was unable to repay the loan amount, and therefore Shylock got an opportunity to take revenge on Antonio, and he was insisting on having his revenge. What does Shylock mean by to bait fish withal? You will have to explain this expression. And how will you do it? Have a look. The expression to bait fish withal means to use as bait for fishing. Explain the expression and then very briefly describe it in just a single line. Shylock wants a pound of Antonio's flesh just to take revenge if his flesh cannot serve as food for anybody. What will he do with human flesh? Human flesh is basically useless for other human beings. Therefore, he will use Antonio's pound of flesh as a bait for fishing. This is how you must write your answers. Avoid repetition and avoid spelling mistakes as well. Write neatly and you will get good marks. Trust me. Question 2. Explain in your own words any 3 ways in which he had wronged Shylock. Again 3 marks. Who is he? We all know he is Antonio. Here you will have to explain in your own words. Do not just copy from the text. Don't do it. And change paragraphs if you want to write those 3 points so as to draw the attention of the examiner towards your answer. The first point, the first way, Antonio prevented Shylock from making profits to the extent of 500,000 ducats. And then in the next line, the second way, he insulted him and laughed at his losses and felt pleased because of them. The third point, moreover, he ridiculed Shylock for his gain in business. Shylock used to charge a high rate of interest for lending money, and Antonio used to ridicule Shylock for his gain in business. He was a moneylender. We all know this. So here are the 3 ways, and you may mention 6 ways as well if you want. It's up to you. We have many points, So write in your own words. He had disgraced me, hindered me 500,000, laughed at my losses, mocked at my gains, scorned my nation, thwarted my bargains, cooled my friends, heated mine enemies, and what's his reason? I am a Jew. This is the section which you need to focus on for this question. Question 3 now. According to Shylock, in what ways did Jews resemble Christians? 3 marks for this. And here I will write in detail the ways in which Jews resemble Christians. An analysis of the similarities between the Jews and the Christians. A Jew is warmed by the same summer and cooled by the same winter as a Christian is. Do not worry, all these points are there in your textbook. Just write in your own words. A Jew bleeds when he is pricked, feels tickled and laughs, faces death if poisoned. Just like a Christian, a Jew has hands, organs, dimensions, senses, affections and passions. Mention all the key words. If you want, if your teacher has asked you to underline the key words, go ahead and listen to her. It's absolutely fine. Follow the instructions of your school teacher. He is fed with the same food, hurt with the same weapons and subject to the same diseases, healed by the same means. And in these ways, Jews are like Christians. This is a compact answer. I have not missed one point. I have written everything from the textbook. Have a look and quickly let's move on to the next question. 4 now. How does Shylock use Christian example to justify his desire for revenge? 3 marks. Shylock asks if a Jew may take revenge if a Christian does him a wrong. He asks this to Salarino. The Jews are similar to Christians. We have already justified this in the previous answer. Thus, if Jews resemble Christians in various ways, the former must resemble the latter in taking revenge also. A Christian does not show consideration to a Jew who has done a wrong to him. The Christian only takes his revenge. By the same example, a Jew's spirit of charity must also teach him to take his revenge when a Christian does a wrong to him. Christians have set an example of wickedness and cruelty, and therefore Shylock will follow that example. Here, in this way, Shylock is justifying his desire for revenge. Again, another compact answer with all the necessary points. After this, question 5. The given extract reveals 2 distinct emotions that Shylock experiences. What are they? Give one reason to justify each of these emotions. 4 marks. What are they? The specific distinct emotions. Shylock is revengeful and angry. Finished. A brief answer, and then I'll change the paragraph and then I will give reason. Give one reason each to justify these emotions. He is revengeful because he says directly that a pound of Antonio's flesh will feed his revenge and he will follow the Christian example of revenge. You will have to justify your standpoint with the help of reasoned arguments from the text. And what are the key elements in this answer? He says directly that the flesh will feed his revenge, a tick mark, and he will follow the Christian example of revenge, another tick mark. And the next emotion, anger. His anger is evident when he speaks about the ways Antonio insulted and humiliated him for being a Jew. He is very, very angry. So this is question 2. Now, question number 3. The mercy speech, Act 4, Scene 1. Portia's speech on mercy. Where does this scene take place? This scene, Act 4, Scene 1, takes place in Venice at a court of justice. The setting of each scene is very, very important. Learn the settings properly. Why is Portia here? What is the purpose of her visit? The key word must be there in your answer. And what is the key word? Portia is here to plead on behalf of Antonio, who is in grave danger because of his forfeiture of the bond signed in merry jest with Shylock. So this is the purpose of her visit. And why does Bassanio not recognize her? Portia is disguised as a young lawyer named Balthazar. She speaks with a reed voice. Her gait is manly. Thus, Bassanio is not able to recognize her because of the disguise. He cannot recognize her, and moreover, he did not know that Portia was coming to Venice. This is how you must write, you must frame your answers. And then question 2, to what is mercy compared in these lines? Mercy drops as gentle as the rain from heaven. And why is mercy said to be twice blessed? Mercy is a double blessing. It is a blessing to him who shows this feeling, and it is a blessing to him who benefits by it. Look how brief my answers are. When I need to write a little, I am writing, and when I can write as briefly as possible, I am not beating around the bush. I am writing brief answers. Question 3. Explain the lines. "'Tis mightiest in the mightiest, it becomes the throned monarch better than his crown." 3 marks. Explain these lines properly. Mercy is the most powerful feeling in those who have the highest authority, the kings. It suits a king sitting on his throne better than his crown suits him. The crown worn by a king sitting on his throne does not look as graceful on his head as the quality of mercy does in his heart. Mercy is the most powerful weapon that the most powerful men possess. An explanation of the lines in your own words. After this, question 4. Later in the speech, Portia mentions a scepter. What is the scepter? The meaning. Scepter is an ornamental staff. It is a rod carried by rulers on ceremonial occasions as a symbol of sovereignty. What is the meaning of sovereignty? His authority. A king is very powerful, and the scepter, this rod, symbolizes his authority. What is the scepter finished? And now let's move on to the subpart, next subpart. How, according to Portia, is mercy above the sceptered sway? According to Portia, the golden rod of authority in the hands of a king is a symbol of fear which kingship inspires in others, and that rod of authority indicates the high dignity of the king and his earthly power. This scepter symbolizes earthly or temporal power and also the dignity of the king, the supreme position of the king in the kingdom. People are afraid of kings and are scared of them because of this rod of authority. But mercy is something higher and greater than the worldly authority which is symbolized by this rod. According to Portia, mercy occupies a lofty place in the hearts of kings. It is an essential quality of God, an earthly power then acquires a divine quality when a man softens the rigor of the demands of justice by showing mercy. You need to be just. Justice is important, but you must soften the rigor of the demands of justice by showing mercy. After this, to whom are these words addressed? These words are addressed to Shylock, the cruel Jew. What does the person say in response to Portia's words? What is his reaction? Shylock asks Portia to leave himself to face the consequences of his actions. He entreats, he requests Portia to enforce the law. and let him have the penalty specified in the bond which Antonio has forfeited. Shylock is legally entitled to the penalty and he wants the penalty. The next question, Portia is seen as the dramatic heroine of the play, and mention any two aspects of a character that appeal to you the most using references from the text. Portia is seen as the dramatic heroine of the play. The two aspects of a character which are the most appealing are her common sense and wit, number 1, as well as her kindness, number 2. And the justification? She plays with words to outwit Shylock. Her common sense and wit and her kindness, she sacrifices her own marital bliss and comes to Venice to help Antonio. She tells Bassanio also to rush to Venice in order to help and save Antonio from the grave danger. Therefore, she is kind. My dear students, this is the solution of section B, drama, and let's move on to sections C and D, prose and poetry now.